Where's my glasses? Good morning, everyone. I'm Idanis Rodriguez, Commissioner of the New York City Department of Transportation. It is always a great honor to be here on behalf of Mayor Eric Adams. We're great friends that you hear from them, as I would call the name. In order for us to keep moving our agenda, we definitely need to have, partners, and it's not only, the level of support that we get from Mayor Adams and many leaders at the Assembly and the Senate at the state level and the Council, but it's also local leaders, especially in each board. And we've been working, very hard to be sure that our agency, give me 1 second, if you don't mind, it's cold and, sorry, I put a little bit on here. Give me 1 second, guys. Stand. Is that I got wrong one here? Just give me 1 second. Let me. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. She mentioned the crosswalks,
As I say, good morning on behalf of Mayor Eric Adams. It is a great honor to be here as we come to the Bronx to share good news. It's great to be here this morning to celebrate the Adams administration commitment to build a stronger, safer city for all New Yorkers. Work can be seen and felt right here in the Bronx. At New York City DOT, we believe that every New Yorker deserves safe streets no matter the socio-economic or ethnic background. Since the start of the Vision Zero initiative in 2014, when I was a chairman of the Transportation Committee, together at that time, speaker at that time was Melissa Mark-Viverito, then we continue with Speaker Johnson, and now we have Speaker Adams, and great colleague that we have. Definitely, we had a great commitment to do whatever it takes to save life in our city. And this is a priority also of Mayor Eric Adams. So I want to be clear, whether you live in Soundview, in Soho, Washington Heights, or in any part of New York City, you deserve the same street, the same safe street. And the results show we are delivering for working class New Yorkers and community of colors, especially working class community. I'm proud to say that today we have released the new report called Equity and Street Safety. The team at DOT led by Rob and Maurice and others, they've been doing a great job pulling all the data. And I know that when we go to any conversation, any community, any hearing, we are a data-driven agency. So everything that we do is following, where we had to address challenges that we have in our city. These are often the neighborhood where we get into data that we have greatest safety need. As a result of investing in this neighborhood, pedestrians and traffic deaths are down. Across the city, neighborhood of all incomes and backgrounds experience decline in traffic deaths because of the work we have been doing to make our streets safer. However, the lowest income neighborhood, working class community, experience the greatest decline in traffic deaths on average. Traffic deaths in those neighborhoods are down 34%. When we prioritize neighborhoods with the greatest safety need, all New Yorkers from all walks of life benefit, but neighborhoods where working class make the majority of residents, middle, most of the population, so the sharpest decline. Pedestrian deaths are down 32%, as I said before, and traffic-related deaths are down 26% on average in those communities specifically. This report makes it very clear. Prioritizing neighborhoods that need safety improvements and may have been left out of the planning process for decades, and now they become priority, make a big difference in our city. We're also here to celebrate what this report looked like on the ground right here in Soundview. New York City DOT has paid carefully attention to the Bronx as we do to each borough, including Staten Island, which is not forgotten borough anymore on the Mayor Eric Adams. New parking protected bike lanes like the one behind us provide critical new connection to Soundview bike network to Classroom Point Park and the New York City NYC Ferry. We have added 4 miles of new protected bike lanes right here in Soundview and 10 more miles of bike lanes to connect gaps in the network. In the last few years, we have added bike lanes on Brownsdale Avenue to calm traffic and keep cyclists safe. And we have added bus lane on Golden Hill Road to speed up bus service for 40,000 daily riders. A street design that includes protected bike lanes increase safety for everybody in our road. And as I told Martin every day, and I told the advocate, as we talk, and it is the truth, that bike lane increase safety to everyone, we also have to talk about the health benefit when we do bike lane. Because when people ride a bike, they live longer, they save money, and it is good for the environment. A street design that includes protected bike lane is good for everyone. It creates a much calmer corridor for all road users, and it's so much easier for pedestrians looking to cross with new concrete. Pedestrian island, new crosswalks, and new pedestrian space like the one we are standing in right now. Improvements like this keep us safe, connect us to our communities, and improve the travel experience for all. I would like to thank again so many great individuals who play an important role, but especially at DOT, Lawrence Martin, Ola Alcide, Omar Arias from Back Units, Chris Bronson, Alicia Posner, and Ben Sweat from RAs. Thank you to Rob. A big round of applause to Rob and Marie. This is the guy here. Rob and Marie are the people in Erin who are every day keeping those numbers working, very hard. Save Hosteters, Anne-Marie, as I said before, King Sealing, and a big old comment for the work that they do. 1 minute en español, and then we get into the great support of friend that we have here. You hear from the elected officials. Hoy estamos aquí porque estamos haciendo algo que es muy importante, que es dar a conocer públicamente el estudio que nosotros tenemos hecho, que demuestra de cómo en la administración del alcalde Eric Adams y en este periodo que nosotros estamos, hoy invertir en las comunidades de clase trabajadora es una prioridad para nosotros. Comunidades que fueron olvidadas en el pasado, comunidades que están mirando en este momento mayor inversión para líneas de bicicleta, para islas de peatones, para dar más área para que nuestra gente puedan caminar, puedan montar en bicicleta de una forma más segura. Y cuando nosotros hacemos las líneas de bicicleta, no es solamente bueno para los ciclistas, es bueno para todos porque se mejora la seguridad también de todos. Pero también recuerdo a nuestra gente, cuando se camina, cuando se monta en bicicleta, se vive más saludable. Y cuando usted usa una bicicleta, es bueno para su salud, es bueno para el medio ambiente y es bueno para la economía. With that, now let's hear from Board President Gibson, a great friend, great partners on transportation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to our Commissioner of New York City Department of Transportation, Commissioner Idani Rodriguez, to the entire New York City DOT team, to our Bronx Commissioner, Anthony Perez, and the entire borough office here at DOT, to all of my colleagues in government who are here, our Assemblywoman, Emerita Torres, and our New York City Council Majority Leader, Amanda Farias. And we are all here for such an incredible announcement, and I'm so grateful to also recognize our partners at Transportation Alternatives, because we realize that we all have a responsibility to achieve safe streets across our city and right here in the Bronx. And when Vision Zero was created and proposed back in 2014, I served as a member of the New York City Council. I chaired the Committee on Public Safety, and together, our commissioner and myself had Vision Zero hearings all over the city of New York. Yes, including Staten Island, too. And we wanted to make sure that New Yorkers understood that achieving safe streets is a shared responsibility. It allows all of us as residents, pedestrians, cyclists to ensure that we're working together with all stakeholders to achieve safe streets, to make sure that we reduce traffic crashes and we reduce fatalities on our streets, making sure that every New Yorker knows that it is a fundamental right to be safe. Today's announcement and the release of Vision Zero, Equity and Safe Streets, allows us to understand the work that has been happening right here in our borough, right here in the beautiful community of Soundview, from the work that has happened on Rosedale Avenue, on Soundview Avenue, and Lafayette Avenue, with dedicated, protected bike lanes for cyclists to make sure that our cyclists are safe, but also our pedestrians are safe. Crosswalks should be the safest part of crossing the street, and we want to make sure that pedestrians feel safe. Our older adults, people with disabilities, our parents with small children, everyone has a right to be safe. So I see this report as an opportunity to recognize achievement and accomplishments, but I also recognize that with all the great work we're talking about, we know that there are New Yorkers out there that have been victims of traffic violence. And so we send our love and our prayers to any New Yorker that has been impacted by traffic violence on our streets. It reminds us that although we've made great progress, the work must continue. And so I thank DOT. I thank Transportation Alternatives. I thank all of my elected officials for coming together and recognizing that we all have a responsibility. One traffic crash, one fatality is one too many. And there are too many New Yorkers that have faced that have lost their lives, that have had injuries as a result of reckless drivers in our community. We can and we will do better. And the release of this Vision Zero Equity and Safe Streets report highlights just that. We are doing better, particularly in low-income working-class communities, communities of color, immigrant communities. We've seen even more street improvement investments. And guess what? They're necessary. Keep investing. Do not lose sight of the importance of our communities when it comes to safe streets. Together, we truly can achieve the Vision Zero that we sought out back in 2014. 11 years later, the work must continue. Thank you, everyone, and we look forward to achieving Vision Zero. Thank you.
Let me give you someone who is a leader not only in her own council district, but also a leader in the city of New York. It's not a sin to push on a bike lane, in the Upper West Side when you have hundreds of thousands of members of TA, downtown Brooklyn or Long Island City, as you do it in community that sometimes doesn't have the same culture. So it takes for people with vision to be able not only to come and say, yes, I want to do this bike lane because it improves safety, I understand it. But also we take a lot of heat when you represent, because I know that when I did projects in Northern Manhattan, when I was by myself, defending projects on time, it was not supported. So again, someone with Farias, is a leader, someone that shows fairness, someone that understands how to communicate with people, and is a great partner. And since she's been elected to the council, it changed the way on how DOT had a frame as an ally. So I can recognize on her a leader not only in the Bronx, but in the whole city of New York. Council member, a great leader, Farias.
I want the commissioner to introduce me everywhere. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today as we gather to highlight the critical work we're doing to make our streets safer for all New Yorkers, especially in neighborhoods that have historically been underserved. I'm proud to stand here today alongside Commissioner Ydanis Rodriguez and the New York City Department of Transportation and all of my colleagues and community partners to announce this release of the new Vision Zero Equity Report. This report, titled Equity in Street Safety, How Communities of Color and Low-Income Communities Have Become Safer, is a testament to our city's commitment to addressing disparities and saving lives. Since the launch of Vision Zero in 2014, we have seen remarkable progress, particularly in neighborhoods where it is needed most. Here in the Bronx, especially in communities like Soundview, the safety of our residents has always been our joint priority, but it hasn't come without pain. In the last 5 years alone, we've lost 3 community members right here in the Soundview area due to preventable traffic crashes. 3 lives that were cut short unnecessarily because our streets were not as safe as they should have been. We remember them today and we honor their memories by committing to continue this very necessary work. These tragedies should have never happened. No family should have had to endure the pain of losing a loved one on our streets. And that is why we're here today, because the safety of our community members is and must always be a top priority. The data in this report shows that lower-income neighborhoods and neighborhoods of colors like Soundview have experienced the largest declines in traffic fatalities because of our intentional focus of redesigning dangerous streets and intersections. Since Vision Zero began, neighborhoods that were over 80% residents that are Black, Asian, or Latino have seen a 26% reduction in total fatalities and a 32% reduction in pedestrian fatalities. In fact, the lowest income neighborhoods have experienced the greatest declines in pedestrian fatalities, an average of 34%. That is real life-saving progress. Here in Soundview, we've recently completed a series of transformative street designs aimed at making our roads safer for everyone. Over the past 4 years, DOT has built 13.9 miles of new bike lanes, including 4 miles of protected bike lanes, providing safer, more connected routes for cyclists, scooter riders, pedestrians, and all of our deliveristas. These improvements are essential for a community like ours where so many rely on walking, biking, and public transit to get around to school, to work, to their local center. So let me share a few examples of the changes that we've made. On Rosedale Avenue, we've installed parking-protected bike lanes, pedestrian islands, and new crosswalks, making it safer to walk to local businesses and schools. On Soundview Avenue, we've added protected bike lanes to give safer access to housing, schools, and playgrounds. We've also improved intersections with hardened daylighting to slow drivers and improve visibility. And on Lafayette Avenue, we've upgraded existing bike lanes to parking-protected bike lanes, further ensuring the safety of cyclists traveling around this neighborhood. These changes are more than just infrastructure. They're about saving lives. These improvements prioritize the safety of pedestrians, cyclists, bus riders, while also making our streets simpler and safer for drivers. We know that when we design streets that reduce speeding, improve visibility, minimize conflicts of intersections, we're not just preventing crashes, we're preventing tragedies. But let me be clear. This is not the end of our work. The Adams administration has doubled down on its commitment to equity using a new equity formula to guide even more street redesign projects to underserved neighborhoods that was started in 2022. This formula ensures that the communities with the greatest safety needs continue to be our priority. And in Soundview, these street redesigns are about creating safety for all and streets for all. They're about ensuring that every person, regardless of race, income, or background, can walk, bike, drive, or ride the bus without fear. As we move forward, we will continue to prioritize the safety and well-being of every New Yorker and Bronxite. The changes we've made here in the Bronx and across the city are proof that when we invest in safety, we're able to save lives. So today we honor those that we've lost, we acknowledge the pain of their family and friends, and we commit to continuing the work of Vision Zero, ensuring that no more lives are lost in our streets unnecessarily. Thank you, and our borough president said thank you to all the people necessary, but thank you so much.
Thank you, leader. Now let's hear from Emerita Torres. It's so great to have friends. And we had Assembly Member before, Marco Crespo before, and now to have another person who understands why transportation should be a priority. Having her as an ally, as a voice in Albany, fighting for us is so great. Now let's hear from Assembly Member.
Good, brisk morning to everyone here. Thank you for being here. First, I just want to thank our Department of Transportation Commissioner Ydanis Rodriguez, his staff, his team, all of my colleagues in government for making this a reality today. I want to also congratulate DOT for their work on the Vision Equity Report. I was happy to read in this report that street fatalities are down, specifically in low-income and moderate-income neighborhoods of color. This is thanks in large part to the fact that the New York City Department of Transportation has prioritized communities in need for street designs, which tend to be of lower income and of communities of color. Thank you to DOT for seeing us, for investing in our community here in Soundview. These redesigns in our Soundview community are critical. Overall, they improve connections to mass transit and establish a network of about 14 miles of bike lanes to support cycling, but also access to housing, access to schools, access to playgrounds, and to Soundview Park, our beautiful park here in this community. The simple intersections and reduced turn conflicts we expect will lead to smoother traffic flow. The hardened daylighting helps improve visibility at intersections, reducing the chance of accidents and overall safety. These upgrades also serve as a model for other neighborhoods across the city. Together, we can create safer, more equitable communities citywide by focusing on infrastructure improvements like bike lanes, pedestrian islands, and safer intersections, which is all encompassed in what you see here today. Once again, I want to thank the Department of Transportation, to the Commissioner, the staff, everyone here, my colleagues in government for making this a reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Now from the elective, I can say the next person, Karine Reyes, is more than a colleague. We were, when I was council member, she was assembly member, but someone, we have marched in Puerto Rico, we have marched here, we've been organizing together. A great person who really is progressive, because it's not cool to say you're progressive, but someone that has lived her whole life in progressive, Assembly Member Karine Reyes.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, everyone. I have to thank my partners in government and, of course, the DOT for releasing their report and for really taking seriously the safety of Bronxites and the safety of our neighbors here in Soundview. In the state, we've worked on Sammy's Law to allow the city to regulate speeding limits, and we appreciate all the work that they're doing to build and bring this infrastructure to the community that makes our community much safer. Unfortunately, communities of color always bear the burden and the brunt of poor design in streets, poor access to public transportation, poor access to bike lanes. So this for us is really a win, and we want to continue to partner with DOT so that they continue to make this priority for the Bronx. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me, and good morning.
Thank you. To close, let's give you opportunity to come and say a few words to two individuals, Jackson Chavos, who are from Open Plans. It is so nice for us, elected government, to take credit, but it's the advocate that they spend their whole life, putting pressure, going to Albany, mobilizing the numbers. So let's hear from Jackson from Open Plans, and then Sean from Transportation Attendant from the Bronx.
Good morning, everyone. You don't want to hear from me, so I'm going to keep it real quick. It is cold out here, and we're going to get done real quick. It is sun is shining, but it is cold. So, I appreciate your comments, Commissioner, but we can take zero credit here. We have done zero advocacy on these specific projects in the majority leader's district, but we're here to celebrate what is more to come in the future, as all the elected officials have said today. Personally, I rode the 6 train up here today, and I got off and I took the scooters down here and had a phenomenal personal experience, one that was really safe and was really efficient. And so I encourage everyone watching this, hearing today, we need more of this infrastructure in this community, in the Bronx. We need more options for mobility and transportation to give people safe, efficient ways ways to get around their neighborhood. So I'm going to leave it there by saying we do a little work with schools and around intersection safety, so I really appreciate all the elected officials highlighting that today. It's the place to start. It's a winning opportunity for all of our neighbors to feel safe and have access to their neighborhood. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey everyone, my name is Sean Garcia. I'm the Director of Advocacy at Transportation Alternatives. It's really great to stand here today. I grew up in the Bronx, and as a kid, you know, these things were not for us. This infrastructure, these pedestrian plazas, these bicycle lanes were not for us. It was not something that our community thought was a reality. To feel the qualitative shift of where the city has gone in terms of investment in transportation, transportation access, and safe street infrastructure has been truly amazing to be part of and to witness. The fact that we're standing here with so many electeds, our state and city electeds, our borough president, it demonstrates the investment not only financially that the city is making, but politically how invested we are in transportation access. And I really want to shout out today, we've been shouting out each other here standing, which is amazing, but also in the crowd, we have a lot of our local advocates, residents who have dedicated hundreds and hundreds of volunteer hours to make this transformation happen in our communities. It does not happen without the local activism and advocacy here in the Bronx. We have made so much strides, but there's also so much work to do. There's still so many people dying on our streets, and primarily in communities of color, primarily in outer boroughs, communities that historically have been underinvested in. We have done so much in the past few years to change that reality, but there's still so much that we have to do. We have to keep forging forward. We have to be ambitious. We have to take on the political fights that are not going to be easy. We have to make the investments in the communities that sometimes it's hard to get the community even to be behind it. There is a cultural shift happening. Our understanding of what safe street infrastructure in our community is changing. Things that before we were like, oh, that's for the white neighborhoods. That's for the affluent neighborhoods. We're like, no, we deserve that too. We deserve that investment. And that cultural shift is happening. The political alignment is behind it. The city is investing in it. Thank you so much to the commissioner. Commissioner Rodriguez has been an amazing partner. And at times, you know, we will push. We're partners, but we also push. We want to make sure that it's happening in the most equitable way. And we're glad for the release of this report. And we're glad to be here for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you to our DOT workers who also, they're the one who do the sound, who do everything. So let's give them a big round of applause. And now let's go to the ribbon cutting. And then we take any questions.
I thought they were about to turn tail. I know they have the big scissors, so. No, but they've done it. I've seen it like I just don't know like which sequence.
All right, go by. Just make sure. Go.
Okay, pictures first, everyone. Commissioner will count this down. I'll send it. Did we get the picture?
Yeah. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Please don't litter in my community.